Varun, hi, afternoon. How's been your reading into some of these consumption and discretionary plays? Most of them flagging off a demand slowdown and that, demand has still not come back to normal.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Edina, for inviting us on the show. When we talk about consumption and discretionary, if we have to talk about the past, yes, definitely there has been some misses, there has been slowdown that we have witnessed. But we need to keep in mind there's a big change that has happened, right? The budget which went by, it had a big soft to give to the people. So that will play over going forward. So one has to keep in mind that any weakness in consumer names, already we have seen a lot of weakness across names, not only consumers, but across every space. I think that any correction in discretionary consumption, particularly, should be taken, and one should look at adding these names. I'm not that confident about staples, etc., to come back because they are extremely well penetrated categories. And by getting higher disposable income, one is not going to go and consume more of staples, surely. So it's going to be the discretionary names which are going to do much, much better. And yeah, we remain much positive from here on those names.
Right, so discretionary as a basket is what Varun is liking at this point in time. But in action today is the OMC pack, specifically ONGC is leading it from the front. BPCL, Oil India, these stocks are all also holding on to the gains of more than 3% right now. Naresh, any of the stock that is still looking attractive to you? Because in the morning as well, we had Kunal's take on BPCL as well as HPCL. He was quite constructive about the move and was hoping for a good move rather. But now as we are towards the end of the day, any stock that you still like?
So the whole sector has gone through a 30% to 20% correction over the last, say from August, September. And now it has started making a base. So ONGC made a base around 230, 270 is the upper band. If that breaks out, we get into a momentum move. Same is the case with Oil India, BPCL again. So most of these companies came back to the prices which were there on 4th June, an equivalent of 21,300. So out here, the base formation is going on. Structurally, looks like a good entry point for the medium to long term.
Closing trades, and we are joining from ET Now Motilal Studios. We have all of our experts with us, so let's continue the discussion further. And Varun, coming to you to have your take on Infoedge. Just a while back, we have got the numbers. While on the frontline numbers, the numbers look quite okay, though it's a bit of a miss, but not a major miss coming in. And the company sounds quite optimistic about the growth outlook ahead. Segmental wise, they are saying that across the segments, they have recorded the growth, and additionally, the non-recruitment business is also nearing the break even, further strengthening their position. So wanted to have your take on Naukri, if at all.
So sorry, we don't have coverage on the name, but it's a great business built over time, and the management has a lot of credibility. I think if they're guiding for things looking good going forward, that's where is the reaction what you're seeing on the name. And there's a great franchise, and they've been doing exceptionally well, both in terms of the recruitment business and the non-recruitment piece also.
I was just wondering that whether you cover this stock or not. But Kunal, if I can have your take on that, because just after that earnings miss, there's a bit of a reaction, but the stock is seen to be recovering from the day's lowest point.
It's recovering from the day's low. It's recovered even from the the previous lows. I think around 7,000 was the low for Infoedge, and from there the stock has recovered quite steadily. 10% recovery so far, more than 10% recovery from the last 1 week, 10 days of swing lift for Infoedge. But I believe now the first litmus test for the stock in terms of a resistance breakout would be closer to that 8,000 to 8,200 levels. That's almost like a 50% retracement of the entire 2,000 plus point correction for Infoedge from that 9,000 plus level. So that's where I would believe that the first major resistance could probably creep into the stock if it's manageable. If it manages to cross back about that 8,200 mark, that's where I would believe that the momentum could accelerate, and you could be looking at a steady buying pattern for Infoedge.
Okay, the board has also approved a stock split in the ratio of 1:5, which is why the excitement in the stock right now. Angel One, that's been one of the top movers today, better than expected numbers, at least when it comes to the operational metrics, and the overall turnover as well has jumped up about almost 6.25% on a month-on-month basis. The cash turnover market share has risen up about almost 11 basis month-on-month to about 16.6% in the month of January. And that's the update that they handed out for the month of January. For HOEC as well, it was a strong performance. EBITDA margin came in at 53.6%. versus 36.9% on a sequential basis. Tata Power, we chatted with the management as well earlier today. Inline set of numbers, revenue uptick of about 5%, EBITDA margin at 21.8%. JK Tyre, though, was a weak set, and the EBITDA margins saw quite a very, sharp, in fact, downtick. They plunged about almost 637 basis points. JK Tyre is the other stock, and that will just come up for you on your screens. That's been reacting to its earnings. Varun, quite a few earnings are yet to come out, right? And we were just flagging off the likes of a Hero MotoCorp, there's ITC as well, there's SBI, and then there's Trent too. Anything particularly that you're watching out for in terms of earnings from these four?
Is going to be the commentary on how things are looking going forward. We all know that last quarter was a little subdued. There were things which were not moving in the economy. There were a lot of things which we were coming out of. There was an election which was there, and post that you saw things slightly picking up. But we need to hear the commentary on how it's panning out. Honestly, for Hero Moto, I don't see any concerns because two-wheelers as a pack overall is doing very well, and two-wheeler is in a pretty strong upturn, and that will remain. We don't see any concerns around Hero Moto surely. Apart from that, on ITC has been consistently delivering on their growth front in terms of volume growth for tobacco, hotel business picking up, etc. So I don't see any such negative surprises in ITC that way. And apart from that, SBI, obviously the bellwether name, the biggest banking name in our country, they have been again delivering consistent performance over time. I think this is the best time for looking at banks overall. They have been subdued for a while now, the entire banking pack. And this could be a great opportunity this time. I mean, whatever the numbers be, with a view going forward with things happening now, RBI last week easing on the OMO front, easing liquidity in the system, a lot of hopes around the monetary policy going forward. I think banks are a very interesting pick. So one should keep in mind names like SBI or any other bank. Our top idea there is Axis Bank as of now.
Mahindra, all right, Varun, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us. Pleasure talking to you.